ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
응답하라
응답하라
여친.
여친.
Go to the into the
Back
she.
to the Kyung to the Jew. Hey, Jane.
Yes.
So, what are the chances that you and I both have a school auction that we have to work at on the same night?
I know. We were living parallel lives.
Yeah, I was like, what? You too? I mean, I knew you had yours coming up, and then, but you were doing it out of the goodness of your heart.
I was doing it for my PTA.
For your school,
emceeing our
'cause-
auction.
Yeah,
and then
because
you
they
were
needed the help.
Yeah, and then you were
I was doing it for
emceeing
money.
because they obviously had a budget to pay someone for this. So mine was like
Medina.
unpaid labor.
Medina.
And yours was a gig.
Mine was a
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, yours was a job.
I was definitely.
Did they pay you well for that?
They did pay me
Good.
well. And it's so funny because I didn't realize.
Mhm.
I do remember my school having an auction, but my school, it was not anything remotely like
Right.
Medina
Is it
is money.
for public school?
It
Or-
is.
Okay.
But
So
in
they had
Medina,
money. Yeah.
I mean, just to live in that area,
Yeah.
I think, how you have to. Your house is probably over $2 million.
Do you know if most people in Medina do public school?
Well,
I'm like
okay,
curious
this is where
to
I'm
know.
like, how is this public school? Because it seems like, well, it's a school with just the kids go there. It must be like a super tight school line.
Mhm.
Small.
Just the kids in that community.
Because Medina
Yeah.
is
It's probably public.
in Bellevue, but within
Yes.
Bellevue,
Uh-huh.
basically,
uh-huh.
right?
Right.
And I'm
right,
like,
right.
how are you guys your own thing? Unless you want it to be.
So it's probably their neighborhood school, which is part of
Yeah, it's like,
Bellevue.
and Bellevue's
schools.
rich.
Yes.
I call it Bellevue.
Uh-huh.
And then it's within that rich.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
like,
to tell you how rich they are, I think they only closed. I mean, budget, school funding and all of that. It's like a statewide, nationwide problem, right?
Yeah.
And Bellevue had to close a few schools a few years ago.
okay.
They only ended up closing like 2, I
Right.
think. And in Seattle, which is our district, I mean, they are the largest district in the state, but there were almost 20 schools that were being looked
Yeah.
at to
Mhm.
close. Yeah.
And Seattle has such a
huge
wide
spread.
demographic.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, in
Like, you
terms of
could
the
be-
socioeconomics
exactly.
and
There's
demographics.
variety there.
Yes.
But yeah, Medina is loaded. I had no idea
Yeah.
that the goal for the school was like $100K to raise.
To raise that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In one night. And
yeah.
I was flabbergasted. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is. I remember being at one of my school auctions and thinking like, 500, and you're still getting something out of it, but
Right. Well, we had like the catalog fundraisers. Do you remember that? The gift wrap and
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
the little candied nuts. and-
Right. I mean, I'd buy that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like floored the first time, when Bennett was in kindergarten. And we got that letter, which was like, oh, we do an annual fundraiser and this is how much we need per kid. They were asking like more than $700 per kid. But that's not what they ask anymore.
Yeah.
They ask more like 1,000.
Wow.
And this is public school, not private school.
Right.
But it's because we lose funding every year because the enrollment goes down every year because district-wide they're cutting programs, and even in more affluent neighborhoods you're not getting the funding for programs. It all like, depends on the enrollment, right?
And it was clear to me, I mean, these parents pay everything for the school.
And that's probably why they can do public school, is because they have
it's
the
public,
fundraising,
but they're paying for it, right? You know
power.
what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
So is it like, it's almost like a private school because
yeah.
it's just within their
Yeah.
community,
Yeah.
and who can blame them you're paying for your own kid's school,
Yeah.
technically public, but
Right, right.
in that very private
It
neighborhood.
is like kind of a private school
Yeah,
mindset because families who are in private school, they pay for everything that they
right,
get. And yeah, it's wild. I used to think like, why do you need to have an auction for a public school?
right.
What? And then you realize just kind of the mechanics of it and the politics, and you're like, oh, okay. Well, it's because, you know, if we didn't do this, we wouldn't have a music teacher. We wouldn't
Yeah,
have a full time librarian. We wouldn't have a full time social worker because I think for a school of our size, our district only gives us like a half time. So we would only have like a part time librarian, part time
mm,
social worker. And those
yeah,
are like important positions and important offerings to have, especially if you want to compete with private schools in the area, which
right.
a lot of these, I mean, we could not, but most of these families fully have the option to go private.
Wow.
Yeah, and they think they're doing some kind of service by staying
Yeah, they're
public.
like, this is my
Yeah,
contribution to the community. My
yeah,
kid goes public.
yeah,
um, I will say it's all moms, like you always point
for
out.
sure.
It's
Oh my
all moms
gosh.
that put it all together.
Yes.
It's a gala,
Hmm.
basically.
And a
It's
few moms, because there are
yeah,
some moms who never do that. I mean, our PTA
that's me.
president didn't come to the auction.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know.
Wow, that seems a little.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I didn't realize I was gonna be really going 1,200. Do we have
Yes.
1,300? Do we have 1,350? Do you have 1,400?
Yeah.
And I was doing so many things wrong
Uh-huh.
because I'd never done it before.
It's so complex. Like you think
Yeah,
it's like, I think of like a like what is it? Like cattle auction,
yeah,
right? And you're mumbling all these things, but the process. I didn't have to do that part. I
uh,
got to like just MC the event,
yeah. How
and
did you
then
feel? Was it okay?
it was okay. Yeah, it was a little
Was there a
chaotic.
dinner and everything?
No, because we did it more like that kind of after dinner hour. Because childcare is a big issue too.
So
So
this
we
was
did
a
7 to 10. So we didn't
full
do dinner. We
three
just did.
course like
They
steak.
probably had to pay a lot of
Yeah,
money for the
200
tickets.
something
Yeah.
dollars per plate.
Yeah.
I was like, "What?" Insane.
That is
Oh,
crazy.
and I didn't even
Yeah.
get a plate. I
You
got
didn't
the
get fed?
volunteer food,
Oh my
which was
gosh.
actually I will say they did put
Uh
out a
huh.
nice deli platter, but there I was like, "Wow, this really feels like
Charcuterie.
I'm really working
Yeah.
here."
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Yeah. You can't take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I
Mm
was
hmm.
like sweating. I
Yeah.
was working hard,
Oh
Jane.
my
I earned
gosh.
that
They
money.
ask you to come back next year, you have to double your rate.
I think so.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. You really
And you
do.
know that apparently yeah, like there's a guy or two guys that have cornered this auctioneer market.
Yes.
Do you know of this guy, Matt?
Yes, Matt is our auction every year for the Herring Center, which is the UW organization that I'm on the board for.
Yeah,
And this is why like our schedule depends on Matt's schedule,
that's
on
right.
his availability.
And I think I got the gig because of Matt's booked
Unavailability?
everywhere else.
Well,
And
good for
so
you.
yeah, I was like, "Hey, call me.
Yeah.
Let me be Matt's backup." But
Yeah.
apparently, you even have to get licensed to be an auctioneer. I mean,
Oh.
not. I think
Yeah.
when you do it at this like school level,
For a
it's not a
nonprofit.
formal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I was like, "What? It's a thing."
Yeah, yeah. Matt is great though.
He
He's
was a former
so
anchor,
good.
I've
Yes, he's a
heard.
former news anchor.
Yeah,
Yep.
I heard
Mhm.
great things. So another one is John Curley, who used
Okay.
to host Evening Magazine. Have you? Did you?
No, no, no.
Okay,
I
you
don't
never
have like
saw
a
it, but
yeah.
I always thought that guy, like
Uh-huh.
he's of course smiley on TV,
Yeah.
felt like he'd be an asshole. It's like he's like a poor man's Ryan Seacrest,
Yes, I was gonna say Dick
older.
Clark.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
older, like wirier, like
Yeah.
and so they were telling me, yeah, the other guy's John Curley. These are the two
Oh my
that have
gosh. I have an idea, Ellen.
what?
This is our next business venture is doing these because I think we need more women And
So that's what they're telling me,
yes,
like,
yes,
we can have you get in there,
yes.
and I killed Jane. I
I'm
brought the
sure you
energy up.
did.
Yeah.
I know you did. I think it's harder to do that for me because it's like my audience, like it's my community.
Yeah.
But I think it's easier if you're like a Matt Lorch and you're just a hired
Yeah.
talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's harder when it's like my friends and you
Oh,
know what I
yes,
mean?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
little yeah,
You need to
absolutely.
have that kind of
Absolutely.
you need to be a guest
Like a
and
fourth wall, like,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Like I'm just here to do the
I'm here to
job and be
work
the
and
and
then
then I'm
leave.
out. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
here to
totally
help you
true.
guys make a lot of money and
Yeah.
yeah, so I think I see an opportunity there.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
all the moms are pumping me up. They're like, you should do this. You killed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
We had So at first it was rough.
Oh yeah.
It was
It
so
always
rough.
takes a little time. Like people need to get some
People
booze in
definitely need to
them and
drink.
food. Yes.
So when they first got there,
Mhm.
we had the situation where there's a separate cocktail room.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever been to the what is it? Overlake Golf Course?
No, of course not. Of course
I didn't even
not.
know this thing
Yeah.
existed. And it's like this room, and so it's basically a banquet hall, right?
Sure.
And so, I mean, I think they do weddings there. And the cocktail room, first people start out in the cocktail room. And then once the dining setup is ready,
Yep.
then they want me to open the dining rooms, but
Yes.
not before. So
Uh-huh.
during the cocktail hour, they're in this other room. And the sound guy, he wasn't familiar with the sound being kind of separate.
Uh-huh.
So he set me up with a headpiece. And and it says in my script that I'm supposed to like make announcements while they're
Sure.
talking,
Uh-huh.
but it's clear the sound wasn't working, so
Yeah.
I'm yelling. I'm
Oh
like,
my
"And
gosh.
make sure to play the spin the wheel." I literally sound like this.
Yeah.
And they gave me the dirtiest look,
Like,
like who is this
what is
peasant
this
that is in our
cacophony? Like, who?
I felt so awful, Jane. I
Oh,
felt like you don't belong here. Like, and then I heard somebody later, like, I think was like, why is she so loud? And I'm like, bitch, I have to make these announcements. This is literally
yeah.
my job.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my friends were texting me, like, how are you doing? Because they knew I was
Yeah.
nervous because I'd never been an auctioneer before.
Mhm.
So I'm like, this is shit.
Yes.
They hate me right
Oh
now
my
because I'm yelling
gosh.
in their ear.
Yeah.
And it's in a small room, but because also in a small room and everybody's like talking,
Uh-huh.
it's impossible to get these people to listen to
Totally.
me.
Totally. So I was very nervous about doing, the emceeing. Like I've done that before,
Right.
and I'm comfortable with that. Like I know all
You,
the talking
Jane,
points,
I don't
but
still you were a full-time anchor too at one point.
yes,
Reporter, yes.
yes. But like I didn't want to do the money grab, like the
Right.
auctioneering, because namely because I'm short. Like I'm like. And ours was not at a fancy banquet hall. It was very rustic. It's at a brewery, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just don't know if I can be able to like do that.
Yeah.
And so I had told Ben, I had prepped him. I was like, I'm gonna need you to like be a runner and
Yeah.
like point people out to me
Yeah.
and whatever. Last minute, there was a guy, one of the parents who did the auction last year, and he did a great job. And he's like one of those rare people who actually like doing that kind of stuff. Like,
What's his name? Is it Jim?
no,
Okay.
like a Korean guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he wasn't available, but then last minute, all of a sudden, he's like available.
Oh, thank
And
God.
I was like, have at it. You can have that part, right? But he did it so chaotically that
Really?
I said, next year, I'm fine doing it all. Like,
Wow,
because
Jane.
he doesn't know people's names, like, he doesn't know, like, the process,
Did they
and
not
he's
have
like,
bid
"Sold,
numbers?
sold, sold," and we have another parent in the
Ooh.
back, like, I'm sorry, what who bought that?
Yeah.
For whom? So
That
I'm
was
doing all the
scary.
grunt work for him
Yeah.
behind, and I
Yeah.
was like, "I am done with all the women doing the work and men getting credit.
Right.
That's
Yes.
fine. Next year, I will do it. You don't have to
Yes.
pay me, but it will not be this chaotic. Like, I
You
will
will
not
have you will whip that.
this is my control freak
Yeah.
coming out again,
You will whip
right?
them into shape, Jane.
And isn't that such a difference between women and men where, they asked me first and I was like, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can do it
Ah,
as good a job
Jane.
as he did last year, right? But then
But then this time you're like, you know what? I can run this shit show better than he can.
he's the one doing the yelling and shouting, but I'm the one doing like the okay, okay.
Yeah.
And he's like telling me, "Oh, it's that guy with a bowl
Oh
cut
my
who
God.
bought it." And I'm like,
Horrible.
I'm looking for a guy with a bowl cut. He has a buzz cut. Like that he had a military cut. And I'm
Bull
like,
cut.
"Yes."
Oof.
So I was like,
What, did
next
they not
year
have
I
bid
will do
numbers?
it. No, they did not have
Oh,
numbers.
that's.
So yeah. So this
Did
was
you have it the
very
year before?
I don't know if we had it the year before, but it wasn't as chaotic the year before. And
Mm.
I've been to, like for I've been to actual auctions where it's very the time the planning has to be there. And it sounds like your event there was a
Oh,
lot of planning.
there was a lot.
But and
You know,
and everybody has a number and
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Had
And
a
it
number,
correlates.
yeah.
So then you have a clear way to track them. But
These women
yeah.
got together like weekly and had meetings and pulled all of them
It's
pulled out their laptops. I have to give them credit. Like, they were incredible.
Did you ever watch
Volunteers.
the movie Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret?
No, is that good?
It's a good movie. Yeah,
Okay.
it's based on a book of the same name, but Rachel McAdams plays the
The mom.
mom, and it's so funny because it takes place like in the 70s,
Yeah.
and she's like recruited to be like in the PTA, and you see her
Mm.
doing all this grunt work, like cutting out fabric stars, and the women, it's their life,
The
like
women
the
run the
PTA.
schools.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
They don't get paid.
yeah.
I
And
mean,
you know why? Yeah, my theory is that there's fewer and fewer women who want to do this grunt work,
yeah.
and so it's just it's not sustainable for PTAs to continue to bring in this money. And then
Yeah.
the people who can, the people who have the resources, they continue to go out to private schools.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like private schools have to raise a lot of money too, but there must be more at stake for them. I don't know
Yeah.
that they're able to continue doing this, but
What
yeah.
was your highest bid item, you think?
It was probably one of those like Suncadia like cabin stays. Went for
Wow.
like I don't know, $7,000.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually Suncadia's fun though.
We do a lot of like the raise the paddle type of thing too,
Yeah.
where it's like you just pledge the money. You're not
Yeah, we
buying a
did that too.
package.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that brings in a lot of money. It's just incredible the money that people will
I
throw.
was shocked. I was
Yeah.
like, 7,500 for being a principal for a day.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, we've had the principal for a day. I asked my kids, like, do any of you guys want this? We wouldn't have won. Like, I would have stopped bidding, like,
Yeah.
several uh, $1,000 before. But Bennett was like, what do we do? And I'm like, you get to eat lunch with the principal. He's like, what would we even talk about? He's like, you get to read the morning announcements. He's like, I'm good. And
Oh.
you bring cheer to the
I
school.
love that.
He's like, I'm good.
I love that we have like down to earth kids in that regard. Like,
But who wants to do it? But then, like all the white parents are like, yes, my kids will love this.
yeah. Yeah. You know what was funny was the school is predominantly Asian.
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so um
They're like, this is a great opportunity for my kid. I'm gonna put it
no,
on
but
his
they're like
college application.
no, but they're like, so we know you're a comedian,
Uh huh.
but you need to be careful. Don't make
Any like
Asian jokes.
Oh gosh.
And I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, usually Asian people like Asian jokes.
uh huh.
And they're like, not these Asians. They're like, there's a lot that's like come from China this year. And I was like, they could find it offensive. They're not like, they didn't grow
Yeah.
up here.
You're like,
So they
Ellen-
might not get your
They're
jokes.
like, Ellen, this is not your
Yeah, I was
audience
like,
at
oh, okay. And
laughs
so then,
or
what was the other thing that happened? Oh, so then somebody was like, oh, should she like learn some Chinese sayings? And I was like, I don't know if you should trust me with that.
Yeah.
But then one of the moms was like, no, that'll make the Indians mad.
Oh my gosh.
So, in the actual auction part of it,
Mm-hmm.
once I got into the swing of things,
Yeah.
I was making people laugh, right?
Yeah.
And kind of feeling the room. And so they were doing this thing like, okay, we need bidders for this item. I think, I don't know, it was like wine or something, right?
Mhm.
Like, come on, this is an easy item to bid.
Yes.
Every table can bid like $50 for this item. Let's have at it, right? So I see, so I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, I'm not seeing paddles here.
Yeah.
Come on, get into it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm getting people hyped up, and then
Mhm.
I see this one table. Nobody is raising pedals,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, "Hey, this table's weak. Come on, get into it!" Like, did you hear me? Like, it's for the children. What will your
Yeah.
children think of you? And then I see one of the ladies that hired me. She's waving, flailing
Oh
her
my
arms at me,
gosh.
and I'm like looking at like, what did
Yeah.
I do wrong? Or I
Yeah.
was like, for a second, I'm like, huh? What is she
Mhm.
trying to tell me? Then someone near me goes, "That's the
That's the
teacher's
teachers.
table."
I knew it. I knew it. Oh my goodness.
I didn't know the teachers were
Those
gonna be
are the
there.
VIP guests.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm never." I jokingly said, "Oh my god, did I just shame the teachers?" And then
Yeah.
everybody just bust
Yeah.
out laughing.
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm never gonna get this
Mhm.
gig again. I am so sorry." Like,
Mhm.
of course you do so much.
Yeah.
The whole like room was
Mhm.
dying,
Mhm.
and then I told this story to Adonis after I got home. He goes, "Ugh, the rich people were laughing at you and the teachers, the
Oh.
poor people."
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm
They're like,
glad you
"Oh,
were there to shake up
yeah."
the stuffy
No, but it was they were at that point really good sports about it. And then
mhm.
I did this thing where they were it says in the thing like, "Oh, this person donated this much, so you got to give them a shout out or whatever, right?" And
Mhm.
one of them happened to be like a real estate agent.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And then it totally made me
Bid
think of,
this much and then we'll plug your business.
or I
Yeah.
think they sponsored the drinks or something like
Okay.
that, right?
Okay.
And then they were like, make sure to point to the life size poster that there is something.
There's a life-size poster?
Yeah, because
Oh
it's
my gosh.
advertising. Like, make sure to
Oh
give them
my
a proper.
gosh.
Make sure
Yeah.
to give this proper.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my god, this. And then it
And were
make.
there sponsors too?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Oh
other
yeah.
yes,
Gotta
yes.
announce the sponsors.
Mhm.
And I was just laughing because it made me think of like Modern Family, Phil
Yeah.
Dunphy.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, you know
That's
what?
so
So I brought the lady
funny.
up. I was like, oh my God, Helen Chan, like, you gorgeous animal. And she happened to be in like a leopard print. I was like, tell me more. And you're the best in the business. She goes, I am. And it was just so funny because she's a character, like, but
Mhm.
she's like a real person, but like
Yes.
she is playing out like a character. I'm like, tell
Yes.
me more. Are you the best in the business? She goes, I am. But it was like I
Like
didn't even
so
coach her.
sincere. Yeah,
So
yeah. You're
sincere.
trying to like call out
Yeah.
you're trying to be a little bit like satirical and it's
And if you need a luxury home, Helen's your gal. And
she's
I
like,
was
"I
joking, right?
am."
But she's
Yeah.
like, yes, that's me. She was just, and so it just became this like, I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
Yeah, how
I
funny.
I got into the zone because like
Yeah.
it was just so out of my world.
Uh-huh.
Like, I felt like at one point I felt like I was in Hunger Games.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this what it's like to be like, you know, allowed in to the rich people parties? But
You have to completely like forget yourself and leave your soul at
yeah,
the
I
door,
was
I
just like,
guess.
this is a group that's totally not in my tax
Yeah.
bracket. Like,
You know what the sad thing is as much money as we raised, it wasn't enough to like keep all the programming we have in place
wow.
and that's how bad the public education funding situation is.
Yeah,
And
that's
I know these
crazy.
people will be upset. I mean, we've been working on PTA communications to explain why, to be transparent about it. Like, hey, we brought in this much, but here's actually what our operating budget is. It's actually like
Crazy.
this much more than what we ask of the community every year. And for a while, we had healthy reserves, and we've been eating into that.
Wow.
And of course, like, I've shared with you before that our school was like on the potential chopping block for
Right.
months.
I
And
remember you being
and
very stressed
now it's
about that.
not. Like we know we at least have one more year and then we don't know what's going to happen beyond that. But yeah, it's like I think we're hitting the limit of what you can continue to like
Well,
pay
and we
for and
also
plug the hole.
don't have Department of Education
No,
anymore. And
no. That
so
is
the
Very
future.
scary, very scary. I dropped off, like, for our school counselor this morning, like, cards with constitutional rights that my friend who she works at, like, the legal, youth council,
Yeah.
like, gave me some of those, and I was like, "This will be hopefully come in handy because we
Yeah.
have a lot of families who, are not, are here on student visas
Yeah.
and a lot of international student families."
Speaking of, did you hear about that Korean student who is being hunted by ICE?
Oh my
Korean.
gosh. No, I didn't hear about the Korean student. I've seen lots of videos of other students getting arrested.
Yeah, Korean American student.
Mhm.
Grew up here since she was
Mhm.
like 7.
Yeah.
Attends Columbia,
Uh-huh.
but ICE is trying to deport her
Uh-huh.
because she attended one pro-Palestine rally. Isn't that
God.
insane?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just telling Adonis how crazy. And
Mhm.
she has a green card.
Uh-huh.
She's
Okay, I think I did see that
yeah,
news. Yeah.
she's been, and that's what I
Permanent
used to
resident.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I came from Korea when I was 8,
Mhm.
and I had that green card.
Mhm.
And then it was me and Adonis had this discussion because, I got the green card, and we knew we were gonna get married,
Mhm.
and so I was like, well, if we get married, I'm just gonna become a citizen anyway.
Mhm.
But it was during the Bush administration
Mhm.
that I felt, with all that was happening with
Mhm.
I think Iraq and stuff, and the talks were
Uh-huh.
getting so anti immigrant, which I had
Yeah.
I said to myself, I think I'll become a citizen.
Uh-huh.
I was worried then. Can
Yeah,
you
you
believe
were
I was
I can't believe it. If you felt that during the Bush
can you
administration,
imagine?
no. Yeah.
I was like, and what's funny is my parents became citizens when I was a minor.
Mhm.
And if they had just filled out paperwork back
Mhm.
then, I would have also become a citizen automatically.
Uh-huh. Why
Because
didn't they?
because
I mean, it's a
they
lot.
I mean, it was
Well, they
literally
don't
just,
make it easy.
yeah. They were
Yeah.
like, you can do it on your own. They literally could have made
Yeah.
my life so easy with
Yeah.
a piece of paper. And they knew about it,
Mhm.
and they were like, well, she can take care of herself when she's
Yeah.
older. I'm like,
Yeah.
and pay more money.
Ugh,
And
yeah.
anyways, so but I remember like thinking then,
And I guess it's not automatic if your parents apply for naturalization.
well, once they had a thing
Okay.
where if your parents became citizens
Mhm.
together, or I don't know, they both got their citizenship, and you have a minor,
Mhm.
there's like a there's there at that time
There
there
were some
was,
extra steps that they
yeah,
needed to
just few
take
steps, and then I
yeah.
would become part of
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
But they
Well,
couldn't be
yeah.
bothered. They're like, she can take care of herself.
Yeah.
We just have to worry about us right now. And so, um, but when the time came, I was like, you know what? I am more American than I am Korean at this
Mhm.
point. Um, I should get my citizenship.
Mhm.
And just thinking about this girl,
Mhm.
like, my God, like you say, go get your citizenship, but you never think that we would be in this position.
Yeah, you never think that.
You've been living in this country since you're 7 years old.
Mhm.
You have been a law abiding, and you're not
Mhm.
breaking the law by attending a rally.
Mhm.
Like, this is insanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I, I don't, and I just keep, I Google
Mhm.
Trump every morning because, like, I'm like, will he have done something that is egregious enough today?
Mhm.
Like, maybe the news will explode that finally.
You Google it every morning. How
I
do you
Google.
have the appetite? Like, Ben comes home, he's like, "Did you
I
see
think it's
this?
my
Did you see
hope.
that?"
It's my hope that he might have fucked up something so bad. I mean, but then clearly, but I still hold out this hope, like he's gonna finally he did something that even, like, but it seems like the lines keep
Mhm.
moving for him, and he
Mhm.
gets away with more and more. He's like overruling judges, and
Yeah.
but I also Googled Musk, and
Mhm.
one day I was satisfied watching him like nearly cry
Mhm.
because on Fox or something because his business is doing so poorly. But
Ugh. every Saturday at U Village, we see those protesters. And I'm like, you guys are preaching to the choir. Nobody's
Right.
driving the Tesla because they like him,
Yeah.
you know?
I
Uh,
think that's also wasted
It's
energy
wasted energy.
because
And I'm like, you guys are just taking up parking at U
yeah.
Village. Like, I just
Yeah.
want to eat lunch.
Yeah.
And nobody's here because
It's not the car's fault. They're actually good for the environment. He just had the money to buy the thing.
yeah, yeah.
But
And I'm like, who are the people who like the earliest people to get the Tesla? Are people who wants to,
yeah.
you know, more
Environmental friendly,
environmentally
yeah.
conscious. You
Yes.
know, the like we don't want to keep commuting like these short commutes
Yeah.
and have these gas guzzlers. Like
Yeah.
we'll drive this.
I had a
And
friend trying to guilt me because we have a Tesla,
yeah,
and then she was somebody was like, "Are you gonna? Is Adonis gonna turn his Tesla in?" I was like, "No, it keeps him alive," because
yeah,
that
he can't. I mean, like he depends on that.
that hour and a
Yes.
half
Oh
drive
yeah.
sitting in traffic,
Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
auto mode
Yes.
keeps him alive
Yeah.
because he will doze off.
Yes.
But luckily, it aids him
Uh-huh.
to not like fuck it up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, listen,
Are you gonna get a sticker that says like Musk or like the
I think
anti Tesla club?
no, you know why? Because it's one of like
Anti
the most
Elon Tesla
basic
club.
models that nobody.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
if you know,
If
it's
you
not
know,
a
no,
fucking
you know. I
Cybertruck.
know.
There's a lady
That's
in
a
my kid's
different
school
statement.
that drives a Cybertruck in dusty rose pink.
So she got not only did she get that, but she had to get it custom
Yeah.
wrapped.
I'm
Yeah.
like, every time I see that thing, it is such a fucking eyesore.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you? I'm like, are you proud of that color? It's like seeing a pink Power Ranger. It's like it has that effect. It's
Yeah.
horrendously like that would be embarrassing.
Yeah. Like those protesters need to like protest in front of her house.
How dare you?
It's like we'll pass by U Village like around lunchtime. I'm like, oh, we can't go. Can we go there? Maybe. And then we were eating at a restaurant there this past weekend, and then we see all the all the protesters because then they're like, okay, let's clear it out. Like their convenient protest was done, and then they all got in their cars like in the parking lot and then drove home. I'm like, that is a wasted energy.
Yeah, shouldn't they like protest in front of ICE or
Yes.
Doge or
Yes.
like,
or you should actually try to help people.
Yeah,
Like
what is that
I
gonna
know.
do?
I know.
And also the people that already bought the cars,
And what
were you
yeah,
supposed to throw it away?
I know. And then what a wasted energy of all the security
Yeah.
personnel.
My gosh.
I was at Bellevue Square, the Bellevue
Yeah.
Mall.
Yeah.
And outside of the Tesla store
that's right. They have
there,
it inside.
armed security guards and
armed?
yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, why?
Yeah, and that's awkward because that Tesla is inside the mall.
Yeah.
It's not an outdoor mall like U Village.
Yeah.
Where were you eating in U Village, by the way? 'Cause I'm always
Babar, which is
Oh,
like
yeah,
right a few doors down from the
yeah.
Tesla store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
How do we really have to? What year is he in? Second?
First, it's still first year. It hasn't even been a quarter. It's barely been a quarter.
We have 4 years of this.
We're not even in. Yeah. Yeah.
This is crazy.
I know.
Yeah, I Google Trump every day, hoping like
You need to pace yourself.
not like to look at the news, but just to see like if I Google Trump, like will I see like going to jail or something? I have this hope.
No.
Am I delusional?
Yes. I think.
You don't think he could be caught doing something like? I mean, okay, the other day, it's laughable when they texted a journalist about their war plans. There's no consequence for that. And remember how they were fucked up about Hillary's emails?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Hillary wrote on her Twitter or whatever, "You've got to be kidding me." I'm like, remember how pissed off they were? Remember how
Yes.
that
I know.
is misogyny right there.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
crazy.
I know.
Nobody's batting an eye. We're just laughing about this. When Hillary's supposed emails was an issue, it was like the whole country wanted to combust over her, and with this lot, it's like a clown show.
I know.
But they just keep going.
Yeah.
Insane.
I know.
I don't know how,
Something is yeah.
but I've seen these like talks like it had to get to this kind of point.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm waiting for, like something to
Yeah. Something
explode.
yeah.
So I thought that's why I think I Googled Trump, like some kind of God, but the January 6th thing happened with him and he
Mhm.
still got out scot-free with as if that wasn't like the most egregious attack on Capitol.
Yeah, it's like very very scary, right? And like, I'm thinking like what part do we play in this too? Be like we just, we can afford to send our kids to schools
Yeah.
where the PTAs can still raise like 100
Right.
grand
Right.
and the rich are winning,
Right.
right? If you have the money, you can kind of protect yourself or
Right.
buy time or
Right.
kind of yeah, defend against like all of these very real consequences.
Right. I had a
um
friend text me when they found out that I was working the fundraiser, like Medina needs money. I was like,
yeah.
listen,
Mhm.
but they're paying for the school.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
mean,
yeah.
they're not taking any money from
No.
anywhere else. It's all coming from the parents.
Right, but they are a bubble, just very much the same
Yeah.
way as our school community is,
Yeah.
but they're a bubble that's not dealing with some of the very real
Right.
impact of other schools.
Yeah.
Not, there are other schools in Bellevue that I'm sure are feeling like the funding crunch
Right.
and kind of the drain of, all the rich families going to private schools
Yeah.
where they can and are expected to pay for stuff. I think we're
Right.
seeing the last of like public schools. I think like the fundraising power is getting reduced every year as
Mm.
more and more people just say, you know what, like I'm done with this. I'm just gonna go to private education where
Wow.
it's guaranteed that there's a set expectation that you're here because you pay for it. I mean, I
Speaking
hate
of,
saying that, but I feel like that's the trend.
well, that's weird that you just well, not weird, but they're also talking about the privatization of TSA.
Privatization, everything is becoming
Yeah.
privatized. Yeah,
TSA.
that's scary.
Are we gonna
That
have
is
to pay
terrifying.
for our own security checks? That's
We're already
insane.
paying for like TSA pre-check. You're already
Right.
paying for clear. Like we see it all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything. Remember they're talking about there was that lady who was talking about she voted for Trump because of the price of cheese.
Mm.
She couldn't
I don't remember that.
Oh, so it was a viral video. Like I voted for Trump because I wanted better price on cheese.
Uh-huh.
Or like this is what I
Yeah.
make for my kids. I need to be able to afford the cheese
Because
to
of
go
the
into the sandwich.
inflation.
I'm like,
Yeah.
do you where do you groceries are through the roof.
This is how he got so many people. He like deluded everybody into thinking he was going to solve their individual problems.
And I love how he's so I mean, not love, but he's not even the slightest apologetic about it.
No.
He's like, things are gonna cost more.
Mhm.
I lied.
Mhm.
What? I can't believe. I mean, I know we're sitting here talking about this, but like, how is this real life?
I have thought about that a lot, and
Yeah.
I've been reading like novels, like historical novels, and I'm like, this is mild. Like I feel like we haven't seen anything yet in our lifetime.
Yeah.
I think we've had a very comfortable
Wow.
lifetime.
Yeah. No, that's true.
And we're probably, in this modern era, as modern Americans, we haven't gone through our time yet. I
Yeah.
think we're living it. I think we're
Yeah.
gonna live it.
That's
And
bleak.
I know it is bleak. But when you look at, you know what I mean? I'm like, if we don't wake up,
Yeah.
and this is how far my bleakness goes, is like, people talk about, like, oh, 4 years, it's only 4 years. It's not only 4 years.
Yeah.
It's not only 4 years, because there's a whole line of people with the same ideology,
Oh
same
yeah.
vision,
Oh yeah.
that are more than ready. They're prepared today if they had to.
They're always,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to give it to the Republicans to be good at,
Mhm.
they're good at mobilizing
Mhm.
and getting, and in fact, they withdrew a nomination, right? Because they thought it was going to affect their, like, power in, you know, having more
Mhm.
Republicans.
Mhm.
I just saw the news about it and I was like, they're always thinking the long game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is where they're like, they excel because they're so one vision. It's like a
Mhm.
cult. I mean,
Mhm.
and this is why we, the Democrats always suffer, because you want to be open and you want to be inclusive,
Mhm.
but it comes with the price of not being able
Do
to
you feel
mobilize.
like, and I'm just thinking out loud, but like, we started as like a scrappy nation,
Yeah.
right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
granted, like, our roots were very much like
Yeah.
white, Christian, all that, but
Yeah.
it was a scrappy nation that, attracted all these people, because like, you could come, and you didn't have to have the class, you didn't have to have the generational wealth, you didn't have to have like the right anything, but you
Yeah.
can kind of make. But now we have established ourselves, like a world
Yeah.
power, a leader in every stage, and you're going more and more back to, like, that old world thinking.
Oligarchy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oligarchy, where it's the rich and the powerful,
Right.
because
That's what we
that's, yeah,
that's
yeah, and you're
that's what
you're seeing, like,
mhm.
leaders wanting to pull out of, like, all these, um become more and more, like, nationalistic, and less kind of focused on, your position in the world, and
Yeah.
and it's terrifying. It's terrifying, and
Was it true that, like, France asked for the statue back? I didn't know
give
if
it, we
was
take it back.
I didn't know if it was a
Yeah.
joke or not, because, give
Uh-huh.
us the hungry, the poor, whatever, in the it's like, clearly that's not what you
Mhm.
stand for anymore.
Yeah,
And I was like, "Oh my god, that's so fucking true."
that is funny.
But I didn't know if it was true or
Yeah,
not, that
yeah.
and I was like, "Is this a joke?" I mean, it's not funny, haha. I'm gonna have to look that up if that's even real.
In my most cynical thinking, I'm like, this is the only way it can go with humanity.
Until what? Until we explode?
Yeah, implode, or whatever, or find a new way to
Well, that's what I'm saying, like, so I was
all migrate
yeah.
somewhere, but where?
Oh. Well, I was thinking, like, something
Yeah,
explosive
something has
happens,
to happen.
and
Like,
then
a meteor taking us all out.
which
I don't know.
which, just the other day didn't sound so crazy because
Mm.
everybody was talking about that tennis ball hail,
Yes, yes.
but it's very unsettling.
Very
Do you
unsettling.
feel I do I have started to think, with all the global things, like, I told you there was a sinkhole in Korea. There
Mhm.
was an earthquake in
Right? The
Thailand,
wildfires in
and
Korea.
wildfires in
Yeah.
Korea. I do start to think, like, oh my God, you know how we have like, we do it for the children, they're
Mm.
gonna have better lives. I'm like, what if we're like the last ones?
Mhm.
Bleak.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what else can you do? You just get up and go do your thing.
Mhm.
Which reminds me, I just saw this movie called Last Breath.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you
That
heard of
sounds
it.
bleak. No. Is
Yeah.
it a Korean movie,
No,
or
it's just a regular. It has Simu Liu in it.
okay.
It has Woody Harrelson,
Uh-huh.
and these are deep divers that go to fix, like, I guess there's like super there's pipes that make the world go round, like super deep, and it's
Underground.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they go to
Uh-huh.
fix the pipes and
Oh,
stuff.
what a job.
It's like, and it's so deep and
Mhm.
it's so intense. But then one of um the divers,
Uh-huh.
he gets cut loose,
Oh.
and it's like
Oh my
you're gonna be on
gosh.
your last breath, like
Yeah.
you gotta hold
Oh
on.
my gosh.
Yeah, terrifying movie.
Terrifying.
And well, I don't now. I'm thinking you might watch it. I don't want to spoil it. It's
Okay. Maybe
I
I'll
actually
look
want you to
into
watch
it.
it
Yeah.
because I wasn't sure if I liked the movie.
Uh-huh.
And it's one of those movies I thought about more after
Mm.
and thought, okay.
Yeah, I like those kinds of
Okay,
movies.
so
Yeah.
I'm going to let you watch that one.
Where
What
you have
about
to kind of dwell.
Adolescence? Did you watch that?
No. Mm.
Have you heard of it?
No.
You should watch it
Okay.
because, okay, we talked about bullying not too long
Yeah,
ago, right?
yeah.
Adolescence.
Okay.
It's like 4 episode.
Okay. It's a
And
mini series.
yeah, it's
Where is it
very low
on?
commitment. Netflix.
Okay.
And what's really cool is each episode
Mhm.
they film in one take.
Oh,
Isn't that
wow.
incredible?
Yeah.
So there's no,
One long take. There's
yeah,
no cuts.
no cuts. And the boy is phenomenal and he's like totally new.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, how did he do it?
That's
He's
pretty
so
cool. So it's
talented.
almost like a stage
Yes, it's
play.
almost like a play.
Yeah.
And he's a new talent,
Mhm.
but it's about, like he's like I think 13 or 14.
Yeah.
It's about like how well do you know your kids?
Mm.
And what does adolescence look like today
Mhm. Mhm.
in this digital era?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the Black Mirror episodes?
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Those are some bleak, unsettling. I had to stop watching
Mhm.
because it got me too um anxiety. It was one of those shows you watch
Mhm.
and you don't feel good,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so I had to stop watching. And I wouldn't stop watching horror
Uh-huh.
because for whatever reason I still get a kick out of horror and thrillers, but that I
But
had
I
to
mean,
stop
like
watching.
horrors and thrillers, it's very like fantasy. But I think Black Mirror was like
Too
too close
real.
to comfort. Yeah.
Yes. Too
Yeah.
And with what we got going on, I
Mhm.
think it would send me over the edge. So,
I don't think I could watch like Handmaid's Tale right
oh,
now.
I can't either.
Yeah.
I stopped watching that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching it and then I was like, I can't. I have to
Yeah.
stop. It's too real.
Yeah.
Got to protect your mental health.
You do.
Cuz whether or not there's going to be a world tomorrow, we still have to go on the contingency plan that there is.
Yeah.
Bleak.
Yeah.
That's the word for
It's
today.
day to day. Day to day. Yeah. Protect yourselves, protect your loved ones, protect your community.
Wow. I can't believe we're ending on that note. It's gotten that bad.